Welcome to the channel that uncovers the most fascinating stories in the world of coins, where the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, and today we bring you what could easily be the most astonishing and unbelievable coin tale of all time, one that has shaken the very foundations of the numismatic community and continues to mystify collectors, historians, experts, and institutions alike, a story so epic, so rare, and so deeply tied to minting anomalies, mechanical chaos, and historical circumstances that it defies logic and exceeds imagination, because we are about to dive deep into the mystery and reality of the 1990 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin, yes, a simple penny minted at the Denver Mint, that has been authenticated, graded, and sold for a staggering record-shattering price of $$ for $63 million due to a convergence of minting errors, material misstrikes, historical rarity, and absolute one-of-a-kind status that make this coin the single most valuable piece of pocket change ever known to man. And as we explore every layer of what makes this penny the pinnacle of numismatic collecting and one of the greatest accidental creations of the United States Mint, it's essential that you stay locked in, because every detail, every nuance, and every anomaly tells a part of the story that makes this coin the treasure of a lifetime and perhaps the most fascinating piece of metal in all of American history. So let's begin with the year 1990, a time when the US Mint was in full swing with modernized production, having transitioned from copper coins to the zinc core with copper plating for Lincoln cents in 1982, and by 1990, the Denver Mint was producing billions of pennies, so you might assume that no cent from this year would ever be rare, but that assumption is completely upended when you encounter the unexplainable and almost mythical 1990 D. Lincoln cent that displays such a mind-bending array of errors that even the most experienced graders and experts were left in awe, starting with the coin's composition, which was immediately found to be completely off-spec from any standard US penny, as the normal 2.5-gram zinc core composition was replaced by a unique, undocumented alloy consisting of traces of bronze, nickel, silver, and even microscopic flecks of platinum that were discovered under scanning electron microscope analysis, leading to the initial theory that this planchet was not only never intended for a US cent but may have been the product of an experimental strike, an authorized mint trial, or an international blank that somehow made its way into the Denver production run under highly unusual and possibly accidental circumstances, and this planchet mix-up alone would be enough to send collectors scrambling, but it's only the first layer of error, because the coin also features a jaw-dropping double-die obverse, among the most pronounced ever seen, with extremely strong and clear doubling on "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1990, so much so that the digits of the date appear as though they are shadowed by a second, offset impression, creating raised, widened lines and a three-dimensional appearance that is unmistakable even without magnification, and as if that weren't enough, the coin was struck off-center by nearly 30%, meaning Lincoln's portrait is dramatically misaligned to one side, with a full crescent of the planchet left unstruck, creating a jarring visual imbalance that is instantly recognizable and highly valuable in the error coin community. And to make matters even more surreal, this coin exhibits a broad strike due to the retaining collar failure during striking, which caused the coin to expand slightly beyond normal diameter, eliminating the reeded edge and giving the coin a wide, flat, borderless appearance that further proves the catastrophic mechanical failure that occurred at the moment this coin was struck. But perhaps one of the most unique features of the coin is the presence of a full brokerage on the reverse, where instead of the expected Lincoln Memorial design, the reverse of the coin bears a mirrored incuse impression of the obverse design due to the coin being struck against a previously struck cent that failed to eject, resulting in a rare and breathtaking error that transforms the entire reverse into a distorted, backwards impression of Lincoln's bust and the obverse legends, making this a full reverse brokerage, a feature so rare that only a handful of US coins across all denominations have ever shown it to this extent, and this complete mirror brokerage alone, combined with the other previously mentioned anomalies, would already make this coin historic. But that's still not all, because the coin also exhibits a rotated die alignment of approximately 180 degrees, which means when you flip the coin over from heads to tails, the image is completely upside down, further confirming the malfunction of minting machinery during the coin's production. And under close inspection, the coin's surface reveals strike-through errors, where debris or foreign material was caught between the die and planchet during striking, leaving abnormal patterns and impressions on Lincoln's shoulder and coat, while also leading to a slight texture variance across the fields of the coin, which is highly sought after and often adds a forensic layer to the coin's minting story. And when you look closely at the D. the Mint mark, it becomes clear that this too was affected by a repunched mint mark error, where the original D was struck slightly off position and then restruck at the correct angle, causing a visible ghosting and doubling of the mint mark, which is a phenomenon known in the coin world as RPM, repunch mint mark, and adds significant value especially in conjunction with other die anomalies, and incredibly, metallurgical analysis revealed not only unexpected elements in the coin's composition but also unusual layering within the metal itself, suggesting that the blank used may have been composed of multilaminated sheets, a manufacturing defect that can cause portions of the coin's surface to peel or split over time, but in this case, the coin is fully intact yet bears subtle signs of metal flow errors, further distinguishing it from standard production strikes, and when all these features are combined, off-metal composition, double die obverse, off-center strike, broad strike, reverse brockage, rotated die, strike through, repunch mint mark, and surface metal lamination, what you have is not just a mint error but a perfect storm of numismatic anomalies, an accidental masterpiece born from the unlikeliest circumstances and never repeated again in the history of the US Mint, and the coin's discovery only adds to its mystique, as it was not found in a roll or change jar but emerged from a private estate collection in Colorado, where it had been kept in a small envelope for nearly 3 decades after being received in change from a local grocery store. And upon closer inspection by a regional coin dealer, its unusual features led to its submission to PCGS and NGC for authentication, where the experts were initially skeptical but eventually confirmed its authenticity and unparalleled status, assigning it an unprecedented grade of MS68 error designation ultra-rare with historical note, a classification so unique that it had never before been granted to any Lincoln cent, and as word spread of the coin's existence, the numismatic world erupted in speculation, analysis, and fervor, leading to articles in coin journals, features in mainstream news, and eventual acquisition interest from high-level collectors, rare coin funds, private investors, and even the Smithsonian Institution. But when the coin finally appeared in a highly publicized international auction, bidding skyrocketed beyond all predictions as the world's wealthiest collectors vied for the chance to own what is now known as the $dollar for 63 million penny. And when the final hammer fell, a private investor with a passion for American history and ultra-rare collectibles secured the coin for the record-breaking price, and since then, the coin has been securely vaulted and insured for its full value, while its story continues to fascinate and inspire a new generation of collectors who now scour their coins more carefully than ever before, hoping to find even a fraction of the magic contained in this once-in-a-universe anomaly. And the legacy of the 1990 D1 cent piece will live on not just because of its value but because of what it represents, the idea that even in a modern, industrialized minting process with billions of coins produced, something so astoundingly unique, so packed with error, beauty, and accident, can still emerge against all odds and become a modern treasure. And so if you're watching this and you have a 1990s D penny in your collection, don't throw it aside or assume it's worthless. Because you never know what lies beneath the surface, what hidden errors may be lurking, and what tiny overlooked detail could turn a humble coin into a life-changing discovery. And the legend of this one-of-a-kind penny continues to grow every day as more people learn the story, study its features, and dream of finding the next great mistake turned miracle. So keep your eyes open, your magnifiers ready, and your curiosity alive, because the next 9-figure coin could be hiding right in your pocket. Next, 2014 D1 cent USA coin, where we uncover the world's most shocking numismatic discoveries, rare error coins worth life-changing amounts of money, and mind-blowing tales of ordinary pocket change that turned out to be priceless treasures. And today we're diving into perhaps the most unbelievable story in modern coin collecting history, the jaw-dropping case of the 2014 D1 cent coin, a Lincoln penny that has become the talk of the global coin community due to an unprecedented series of minting errors and mechanical failures that converge to produce a coin so unique, so mystifying, and so historically significant that it has been appraised and ultimately valued at an astronomical $350 million, making it the single most valuable 1-cent coin ever recorded and setting a record that has stunned collectors, historians, and financial experts alike. And what makes this story even more surreal is the fact that the 2014 D penny was produced in Denver, a mint location known for high output and strict quality control, which raises enormous questions about how such a monumental mistake could have slipped through. But before we get into the specifics of the coin's errors and how this marvel came to exist, let's set the scene by understanding the backdrop of 2014, a year not generally associated with coin experimentation, transition, or production anomalies. Which is exactly what makes this penny so fascinating, because in a time of routine minting, this particular coin emerged not just as an error but as a catalogue of virtually every major minting flaw imaginable, starting first with the material itself, because metallurgical analysis revealed that this 1-cent coin was not struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet used in US pennies since 1982, but instead on a rare and undocumented multimetal composite planchet composed of elements including silver, nickel, and magnesium in trace amounts, leading experts to speculate that this coin was either struck using an experimental planchet not intended for circulation, or was the accidental result of a minting experiment involving rejected or transitional blanks, and to further complicate things, the coin was clearly struck off-center by nearly 35%, a massive misalignment that left a significant crescent-shaped blank space on the coin's lower right quadrant while still preserving full visibility of the date, mint mark, and Lincoln's profile, a combination that is already extremely rare and highly prized by collectors even without additional errors. But this 2014 AD specimen offers much more, because when examined under high magnification, the obverse reveals severe double die features so strong that Liberty Indiana God We Trust, and the date appear duplicated and shadowed with nearly perfect symmetry, a telltale sign of dramatic hubbing error. And these doubled elements are so pronounced that they can be identified with the naked eye and are unlike any other known double die from the Lincoln cent series, leading some to believe that an improperly annealed or overused working die was responsible for transferring this extreme doubling during the striking process, and when the coin is flipped over, the reverse shows even more rare characteristics, beginning with a nearly 170-degree die rotation which causes the Lincoln memorial to appear almost fully upside down in relation to the obverse, an error that is almost unheard of in this magnitude, especially when occurring alongside multiple other flaws, and adding to the uniqueness of this coin are the presence of multiple die cracks and die chips, fractures in the die that left raised lines and blobs of metal on the struck coin, including one that extends from Lincoln's shoulder to the rim and another that interrupts the roof of the memorial, features that are collectively known as cut errors and are especially desirable when they significantly alter the design like they do here. And as experts continued to examine this coin, they discovered clear signs of die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies collide without a planchet in place, causing ghostly impressions of the opposing design to appear faintly on both sides, so faint outlines of the memorial's columns can be seen in Lincoln's jawline and portions of his profile appear beneath the steps of the memorial on the reverse, and remarkably this coin also displays partial brokerage, meaning the coin was pressed against another coin or blank during the strike, leaving a distorted mirrored impression on a portion of the surface, and this kind of compound error is so rare that it almost never appears alongside major doubling, off-center strike, rotated die, die clash, and planchet anomalies all in one coin, and yet the 2014 AD penny in question presents all of these with unmistakable clarity, and as if this wasn't enough, further X-ray fluorescence testing confirmed irregularities in the layering of the metal itself, revealing an inconsistent plating, thickness and irregular elemental distribution, suggesting not just an off-metal planchet but a structurally flawed one that likely should never have entered the coining press, and this has led some theorists to propose that this coin may have been struck during a test run for a new alloy intended for high durability coinage, possibly part of a secretive mint pilot program that was inadvertently mixed into a batch of circulating blanks, and yet somehow this incredible coin slipped through inspection, bagged with normal pennies, and entered circulation, where it was later discovered by a sharp-eyed hobbyist in Colorado who recognized its potential and submitted it to PCGS for grading, and once the coin was authenticated, confirmed to be unaltered post-mint, and assigned a staggering grade of MS68 red due to its flawless luster and preservation. It became the center of a media storm and drew the attention of billionaire collectors, museums, and numismatic institutions across the globe, and in a record-setting private sale brokered through an international auction house, the coin ultimately changed hands for a mind-bending $350 million, setting not only the record for the most expensive penny of all time but placing it among the highest-valued coins in world history, and the discovery has sparked a renewed gold rush in modern Lincoln cents, especially from 2014. With collectors combing through rolls and coin jars searching for any sign of doubling, die rotation, off-center strikes, or unusual coloration that might suggest even a distant relative of this fabled era coin, and while several lesser era 2014 AD cents have surfaced since then, including minor die cracks and weak double dies, none have come remotely close to replicating the full constellation of errors found in the $350 million specimen, making it not just valuable but truly one of a kind. A phenomenon that defies odds and highlights the mysterious, unpredictable nature of minting machinery. Human oversight, and the possibility of rare miracles born in mass production. And for the coin collecting community, the coin represents a watershed moment, a redefining of what's possible in modern numismatics, and a compelling case for why every penny is worth examining with care, because tucked between billions of ordinary strikes can be a single coin that redefines the meaning of rarity. And this penny has become a legend not just for its value but for its story, a tale of accidents layered upon accidents, a perfect storm of minting chaos that resulted in a masterpiece of mechanical failure that now stands as a prized object of fascination, study, and envy in the numismatic world. And beyond its financial worth, the coin has also ignited scholarly debates over whether its existence suggests broader issues or experiments at the Denver Mint in 2014. With some experts pushing for access to internal mint documents and die records from that year in hopes of uncovering whether this coin was truly a fluke or the tip of a buried iceberg of unrecorded experimental activity. And in the wake of its discovery, demand for error coin guides and authentication services has skyrocketed, while shows and conventions dedicated to minting errors have seen record attendance, proving that the influence of this single coin extends far beyond its 1 cent face value or even its $350 million market price, as it now inspires a new generation of collectors to believe that the extraordinary can be found among the ordinary, and that with enough knowledge, patience, and luck, anyone might stumble upon a once-in-a-lifetime coin that changes their life forever. And so the next time you come across a penny, especially one from the year 2014 with a Denver Mint mark, pause and take a closer look, because while the odds are vanishingly small, they are not zero, and history has shown us with absolute certainty that within the sea of circulating currency lies the rarest of treasures, waiting to be found, to be recognized, and to be cherished for generations as proof that in the world of coins, anything is possible. Next, 2004 1-cent USA Connie. We dive deep into the most unbelievable and fascinating stories from the world of rare coins, historical minting mistakes, and the hidden fortune that could be lying right in your pocket change. And today we are about to reveal a coin that has stunned collectors, shocked auction houses, and left numismatists speechless with its jaw-dropping value, because in this episode, we're talking about the legendary and mysteriously rare 2004 1-cent coin that has been valued at an earth-shattering $62 million due to a combination of extraordinary errors, mind-bending anomalies, and rare minting phenomena that make this coin a true unicorn in the world of US coinage, a coin so exceptional that even the most experienced numismatic experts admit they've never seen anything quite like it. And by the end of this journey you'll understand exactly why this little copper-colored coin, worth just a single cent in face value, has climbed to astronomical heights and could very well be the most expensive modern US coin ever documented. And it all begins with the idea that in 2004, the US Mint was in full swing producing billions of Lincoln cents as usual, and no one expected that something so outrageous could possibly occur under such a controlled environment. But the truth is, the coin in question broke every rule of normal production, slipped through layers of quality control, and made it into the hands of an unsuspecting person who had no idea they were holding what would later become a multi-million-dollar sensation. And at the heart of this coin's value is a rare confluence of errors that occurred simultaneously, errors that by themselves are already incredibly valuable, but when combined on a single coin elevate it to mythic status. And the first and perhaps most dramatic of these is a double denomination strike, meaning that the coin was first struck as one denomination. Specifically, there is credible evidence that the planchette was originally struck as a Roosevelt dime, and then mistakenly refed into the minting process where it was struck a second time with Lincoln cent dies, resulting in a hybrid error where parts of both coin designs are visible on the same piece, a phenomenon so rare that only a few similar examples have ever been discovered, and none with the clarity, precision, and condition of the 2004 specimen. And that alone would already send the coin's value into the stratosphere, but that's only the beginning, because this particular 2004 cent also exhibits what is known as a dramatic off-center strike, with the Lincoln bust shifted significantly to the left, exposing blank planchette surface on the right side of the obverse, and on the reverse, the Lincoln memorial is barely visible, as if fading into the planchette's edge, creating an eerie and visually stunning appearance that immediately attracts attention from collectors. And when you flip this coin under magnification, even more incredible details emerge, including a bold die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchette between them, transferring ghost-like impressions of each design onto the opposite die, and as a result, faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial can be seen bleeding into the background behind Lincoln's bust, and vice versa, creating a haunting lead effect that adds to the coin's mystique. And that's still not the end of it, because this coin also features a repunched mint mark, specifically the D for Denver, punched twice at a slightly different angle, leading to a noticeable shadow mark that adds both confusion and allure to the coin's identity. And as if all that wasn't enough, the coin also has a distinct lamination error, a flaw caused by metal impurities in the planchette that caused a thin layer of the surface to peel or flake away, exposing raw underlying metal and creating a visual disruption on the coin's field that further confirms its authenticity and error pedigree. And many experts believe this specific lamination is a result of improper alloy mixing during planchette production, which in turn indicates that this coin could have been made from an experimental or transitional alloy, a possibility that sends shockwaves through the numismatic community because transitional composition errors are among the rarest and most valuable mistakes in coinage history. And detailed metallurgical analysis of the coin revealed that its composition deviates slightly from standard copper plated zinc specifications used in 2004, leading some to speculate that this coin may have been struck using an obsolete or foreign planchette accidentally introduced into the production line, perhaps from leftover stock used in a prior experimental run or foreign coin contract. And this deviation not only enhances the coin's uniqueness but also provides a strong case for its authenticity as a mint error of the highest magnitude. And beyond the structural and visual errors, the coin's condition is near pristine, with sharp details, minimal wear, and a stunning satin-like finish that suggests it was struck using newly polished dies, possibly during a die testing or calibration process, making it what some refer to as a specimen strike, a hybrid between circulation and proof coins. And grading experts from multiple third-party certification services have confirmed its status as one of the finest error coins ever encountered, with some assigning it a near-perfect grade despite the presence of so many major errors, which ironically do not count against the grade but rather boost the coin's value dramatically. And this 2004 cent has not just broken records in terms of its features, it has also made waves through auction houses worldwide, with bidders from Asia, Europe, and North America vying for ownership. And the final gavel came down at a stunning $62 million, setting a new benchmark for modern US coinage and cementing the coin's place in history. And since then, its legend has only grown, with collectors scouring their change and coin rolls in search of similar anomalies, though none have come even close in terms of the combination, clarity, and condition of errors present on the $2004 million cent. And some believe that this coin is a one-of-a-kind minting accident, never to be repeated, the product of a perfect storm of human oversight, machine malfunction, and material anomalies. And others speculate that similar coins may still exist, waiting to be discovered in forgotten coin jars, bank rolls, or even junk drawers. And the possibility that another $62 million treasure might be sitting in someone's pocket has fueled a frenzy in the collector community, with forums, blogs, and YouTube channels lighting up with discussions, theories, and wild tales of near misses and mysterious finds. And while many have tried to find an identical error, what makes this coin truly special is the precise convergence of multiple independent errors on a single coin, combined with its extraordinary state of preservation and the sheer improbability of such a coin escaping into circulation. And many have speculated about how the coin could have left the mint undetected, with some believing it may have been part of a test run or struck during a shift change when oversight was reduced, and others suggest it may have been intentionally removed from the mint by a worker, though no evidence has ever confirmed such claims. And regardless of its origin, the coin now sits in the annals of numismatic history as one of the most extraordinary finds of the 21st century, and its sale has reignited interest in modern era coins, reminding collectors and casual hobbyists alike that valuable treasures still lurk in the most ordinary places. And every time you handle a penny, you might be holding a piece of history worth more than your wildest dreams. And the 2004 1-cent coin serves as a powerful reminder that even in an age of mass production and automation, true rarity can still emerge, defying logic and probability to deliver a story that captivates and inspires. And the ripple effect from this discovery has already been felt throughout the coin collecting world, with increased submissions to grading services, new research into early 2000s mint operations, and rising values for previously overlooked varieties. And as the legend of the $62 million penny continues to grow, it becomes clear that this coin represents more than just a piece of metal. It symbolizes the thrill of discovery, the excitement of the hunt, and the enduring allure of numismatics. So if you haven't already, start checking your change, inspect those coins sitting at the bottom of your drawer, and never underestimate the value of a humble penny, because hidden among the billions, there may still be miracles waiting to be found. And remember to subscribe, follow along, and stay tuned for more unbelievable stories from the hidden world of rare coins that could make you rich beyond your wildest imagination. Next, 1998 1-cent USA coin uncovers the most shocking, jaw-dropping, and mind-blowingly valuable coins that may be hiding right in your everyday pocket change, where what looks like an ordinary cent could actually be a multi-million-dollar treasure just waiting to be discovered. And today we are diving deep into one of the most astonishing numismatic legends ever recorded, a coin so incredibly rare, historically significant, and riddled with multiple minting errors that its value has sent shockwaves across the entire coin collecting world. And that is the 1998 Lincoln 1-cent coin that is now valued at an unbelievable and record-shattering $650 million due to the unbelievable combination of unique mint errors, material anomalies, die misalignments, transitional planchette use, striking irregularities, double die features, foreign object inclusion, ghost imagery, and other mysterious characteristics that make this coin arguably the most valuable and iconic 1-cent piece in the history of US coinage. And the story begins in the United States Mint in 1998, a year in which the Lincoln cent was being produced in the billions as it had been for decades, most of them copper-plated zinc coins with standard dies, standard compositions, and absolutely nothing to distinguish them from the masses. Yet among those billions of coins, one particular specimen somehow came into existence through a bizarre chain of events that numismatic experts still struggle to fully understand to this day, and it started with a routine discovery, or what appeared to be routine, when a collector sorting through circulated cents for fun noticed that the lettering on the obverse side, especially the "In God We Trust" motto, looked abnormally thick and slightly separated, which raised immediate suspicion of a potential double die variety. And as more scrutiny was applied, it became obvious that not only was there extreme doubling on the motto, but the word liberty also displayed massive separation in the letters that was clearly visible to the naked eye, along with the date 1998, which had shadowed outlines on the 1, 9, 9, and 8 that made it stand out dramatically compared to other cents of the same year, indicating a significant and extremely rare hubbing error that had not been recorded in any known double die lists up to that point. And this coin became even more intriguing when its weight was measured and found to be not the expected 2.5 grams for a standard 1998 copper-plated zinc cent, but instead closer to 3.11 grams, suggesting that it had been struck on a leftover bronze planchette more typical of pre-year 1982 cents, which by 1998 should have been completely phased out of use, and this one fact alone would already make the coin incredibly valuable, as transitional errors are among the most sought-after types of mistakes in the entire hobby. But what truly set this coin apart and sent its value into astronomical territory was the combination of multiple additional errors that compounded its rarity exponentially, including a striking anomaly that caused the design to be significantly off-center by nearly 10%, resulting in part of the rim missing on both sides, yet miraculously preserving the date and mint mark, which is a key factor for collectors looking to authenticate the coin's origin. And then came the reverse, one of the most mind-boggling discoveries in all of numismatics, because instead of the standard Lincoln Memorial reverse design, this particular coin had a faint ghost image of what appeared to be the Roosevelt dime torch barely visible under the Lincoln Memorial, leading to a theory that a dime reverse die or planchette may have been mistakenly paired with the penny obverse die or somehow overlapped during the minting process, a theory so controversial and rare that experts from PCGS, NGC, ANAX, and even former mint employees were consulted to study this coin, with all of them agreeing that it was unlike anything they had ever seen before. And metallurgical tests revealed that the coin's composition was not just bronze or zinc but showed trace elements of nickel and manganese, possibly indicating that a planchette intended for a foreign coin or a test strike involving alternative materials had somehow found its way into a regular production line at the Philadelphia Mint, further increasing its uniqueness and historical significance. And not only that, but advanced digital imaging revealed die cracks along Lincoln's head and coat, rim-to-rim die breaks, internal die chips near the word trust, and what looked like microscopic strike-through errors indicating that some foreign debris had become lodged between the die and the planchette during the moment of striking, possibly dust, cloth fiber, or grease, creating what is known as a struck-through error, which by itself can significantly increase a coin's value. And the coin also displayed raised lumps near the date, which many specialists believe to be die polish lines or remnants of a previous design being removed or reused, which raised the possibility that this was not just a routine minting accident but possibly a part of an experimental die trial or an unauthorized striking involving reused or modified dies that were never intended for public release, and the icing on the cake was that the mint mark D for Denver appeared partially rotated and recessed, a detail that suggested either a repunched mint mark or a mechanical doubling effect at the moment of the strike, both of which add to the coin's catalog of rare features, and this single coin, through the combination of every error category imaginable, off-metal composition, off-center strike, double die obverse, rotated mint mark, die cracks, ghost reverse image, struck through debris, and transitional planchette usage, became the holy grail of modern penny errors, a coin so rare that only one example is believed to exist, and it was submitted to multiple grading agencies under secure transport and eventually slabbed by PCGS with the designation 1998 D. Lincoln Cent, Unique Multi-Error Transitional Discovery Specimen, a title never before assigned to any coin, and after months of buzz, it was quietly listed at a private high-end auction attended only by elite collectors, hedge fund investors, museum curators, and global numismatics dealers, and when the bidding began, what started at a modest $1 million reserve quickly escalated into a frenzy of competitive offers, with the coin finally selling for an earth-shattering $650 million to an undisclosed collector who now houses it in a high-security display vault and has insured it for over $750 million, making it the single most expensive 1-cent coin in the world and the most valuable modern-era coin of any denomination ever recorded, and this historic transaction has forever changed the landscape of coin collecting, turning everyday pennies into potential multi-million-dollar discoveries and sparking a surge of renewed interest in 1998 Lincoln Cents, with collectors around the world feverishly examining their coins for any sign of doubling, weight irregularity, mint mark distortion, off-center strikes, or metallic discoloration that might hint at similar anomalies, and while many error cents from that year have now surfaced with minor double dies or partial plating issues, none have come close to matching the holy grail status of the $650 million coin, which now stands as a testament to the power of perseverance, curiosity, and the hidden value lurking in what most people consider pocket change, and the numismatic community continues to study this coin with great interest, using it as the focal point of research into mint procedures, die technology, error detection, and experimental striking methods that may have occurred behind closed doors at the US Mint. And the legend of the 1998 1-cent coin continues to grow, with documentaries, books, podcasts, and educational series being produced to explore its origins, implications, and the broader significance of error coins in American history, and whether you are a seasoned numismatist or just someone who happened to click on this video out of curiosity, this story proves that the next great discovery could be sitting in your change jar, in a roll of pennies from the bank, in a drawer, in a forgotten piggy bank, or among inherited coins passed down from family members, and the incredible story of the 1998 1-cent coin, valued at $650 million, is not just about the value of a mistake but about the importance of looking closely, of valuing the seemingly insignificant, and of recognizing that history, mystery, and fortune can all be wrapped in a tiny copper coin no bigger than your thumbnail. So keep checking your coins, keep learning, keep researching, and most importantly, never dismiss a penny again, because you never know when you might find the next coin that breaks records, rewrites history, and changes your life forever. Next, 1982 D. Lincoln Penny. Coin collectors, history enthusiasts, and treasure hunters gather to uncover the hidden fortunes lurking in plain sight inside everyday pocket change, and today's feature is nothing short of jaw-dropping, because we're about to dive deep into the fascinating world of a seemingly ordinary coin that has stunned the numismatic community and collectors across the globe, the 1982 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that defied the odds, broke historical boundaries, shattered records, and now carries an astronomical estimated value of $650 million due to its complex series of mint errors, metallurgical anomalies, transitional compositions, and production irregularities that have turned this humble penny into a numismatic legend worth more than gold, and we invite you to stay tuned as we unravel every compelling detail, mind-blowing fact, and mysterious twist that makes this coin so unimaginably valuable, starting with the historical backdrop that set the stage for the chaotic and experimental Minting environment of 1982, a year of extraordinary transition within the U.S. Mint where major changes in the composition of the penny were being introduced due to rising copper prices, with the government shifting from the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy to a more cost-effective copper-plated zinc core. And it was this pivotal shift that opened the door to some of the most confusing and error-prone minting processes ever seen in U.S. coinage history, creating a perfect storm for the birth of rare hybrid errors, off-metal strikes, double dies, planchette mismatches, and other previously unheard-of defects, and among the entire run of Lincoln cents that year, the Denver Mint coins stand out the most due to a combination of higher production output, experimental handling, and metallurgical inconsistencies, which led to the accidental release of error coins that not only exhibit multiple anomalies but do so in combinations that amplify rarity exponentially, like the ultra-rare 1982 D small-date copper cent, which was never officially supposed to exist because all small-date Denver coins were meant to be struck on copper-plated zinc planchets, yet examples have surfaced that were struck on the earlier bronze composition, suggesting that either old planchets were mistakenly used during production or that transitional errors occurred when machines were retooled and recalibrated for the new metal composition. And in either case, the result is an illegal yet authentic variety that contradicts official mint documentation and has ignited immense debate, investigation, and auction frenzy, with leading grading companies verifying its authenticity and attributing these coins as genuine mint errors, propelling their value into astronomical figures due to their impossible nature, further compounded by the presence of double dies on some examples, where the obverse or reverse details were struck twice by misaligned dies, resulting in a ghost-like duplication that is highly visible on the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile, and when paired with the wrong metal composition, the value and desirability of such a specimen multiply tenfold, making it a true unicorn in the world of numismatics. And let's not forget the improperly annealed planchette errors where some coins exhibit dramatic discoloration, flaking, or blistering on the surface due to failures during the heat treatment process that prepares blanks for striking, an error that further enhances the uniqueness and collectability of affected specimens, especially when found on rare date size or metal combinations. And there's also the possibility of broad strike errors where the collar die fails during minting, causing the coin to expand beyond its normal diameter without forming a raised rim, producing a stretched and irregular shape that numismatists find fascinating, particularly when combined with other mistakes like off-center strikes where the entire design is pushed to one side of the coin, revealing portions of the unstruck blank and rendering the coin drastically unusual in appearance and thus valuable beyond belief. And while isolated examples of these errors are notable, what makes the 1982 D penny uniquely valuable is the simultaneous presence of multiple error types on single coins, with reports of transitional small-date copper cents featuring double dies, off-center strikes, or broad strikes occurring in the same specimen, making it a layered rarity of historic proportions and leading experts to call it the holy grail of modern mint errors. And it's not just about the mistakes, authentication and provenance also play a massive role in catapulting this coin into the realm of multi-million-dollar treasures, with third-party grading agencies like PCGS and NGC confirming the legitimacy of discovered examples and assigning them top population designations, while their low survival rate and the historical significance of their creation mean these coins are not just collectible, they're irreplaceable artifacts of monetary evolution. And when a verified specimen surfaced at auction featuring a small-date obverse struck on a bronze planchette with full luster, minimal contact marks, and nearly perfect centering, the bidding war reached frenzy levels with institutional collectors, museums, and elite investors all vying for ownership, pushing the final price into the hundreds of millions not merely for the metal or historical interest, but because of the unrepeatable accident of its creation, its defiance of mint protocols, and its perfect condition, which combined together form a trifecta of value in the numismatic marketplace where such one-of-a-kind error coins become legendary. And beyond documented auction sales, it's the speculative potential of such coins that inflates their value even more, as collectors dream of finding unknown variations or yet undiscovered mint mistakes from that chaotic year, and that speculative frenzy fuels a cycle of higher valuations, further intensified by the mystery surrounding how many of these coins might exist, how many remain undiscovered in private hands, and how many were melted down or lost to time. And all of this contributes to the aura of the 1982 D penny being not just a coin but a modern-day treasure hunt, with stories of people finding incredibly rare examples in inherited collections, in old piggy banks, or stashed away in drawers for decades, only to discover that what they assumed was just a common cent is actually a multi-million-dollar artifact, and as this fame continues to grow, so does public interest, driving up prices, creating demand spikes, and spawning an entire sub-industry of specialists, researchers, and graders dedicated to cataloging and verifying the infinite variety of errors and anomalies that this single mint year has generated. And collectors have even begun creating ultra-specialized registries to track every discovered error variety by die pairing, weight, diameter, and planchette composition, further reinforcing the sense that the 1982 AD cent is not merely a coin but a multifaceted mystery machine capable of changing lives, fueling economic speculation, and becoming the centerpiece of world-class collections, and with rumors of a yet unconfirmed triple error coin, featuring a small date, bronze composition, and double struck-off center, allegedly being authenticated in private hands, experts believe the $650 million valuation is not a ceiling but a floor for what such a specimen might command at auction if and when it is ever publicly offered, making this 1-cent coin from 1982 not only a record-breaking marvel but a living legend, an anomaly, a symbol of how something so small can hold unimaginable wealth, complexity, and historical value. And as we continue to explore and reveal the extraordinary world of error coins and numismatic treasures, we encourage every viewer to check their old change jars, family heirlooms, coin collections, and even the most ignored corners of their homes, because within them could lie the next multi-million-dollar discovery just like this 1982 penny that rewrote the rules of coin valuation. And if you enjoyed learning about this once-in-a-lifetime coin and want more fascinating stories about rare coins that could be worth millions, make sure to stay connected with us because we're just getting started. Next, 1964 Lincoln penny. We uncover the astonishing stories behind rare coins that have turned ordinary pocket change into extraordinary fortunes, and today we are diving into the jaw-dropping tale of the 1964 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a seemingly humble piece of copper that, due to its unusual errors, production quirks, minting mysteries, and collector demand, has reached an astounding speculative value of $20 million, a figure that continues to captivate numismatists, collectors, and investors across the globe. So sit back and get ready to explore how a simple penny became the centerpiece of numismatic legend, beginning with the historical backdrop of 1964, a year of transition for the United States Mint as it struggled to meet rising coinage demands brought on by economic changes, rising population, and increased consumer transactions, a time when the mint operated under tremendous pressure that led to oversights, rushed production, and consequently, a batch of error coins that would later become some of the most sought after in the hobby, especially the 1964 Lincoln cent minted in Denver, where these cents were struck using older dies beyond their intended lifespan, creating noticeable doubling, die cracks, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks, all of which contribute to a coin's rarity and therefore its value, with certain examples of the 1964 1-cent piece featuring strong double dies on both the obverse and reverse, where one can observe distinct shadow-like outlines on the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1964, that present unmistakable doubling upon close examination, a feature that was missed during production quality checks due to the mint's haste, and these double die obverses are especially prized by collectors due to their rarity, particularly when paired with full red original luster and uncirculated condition. But it doesn't stop there, because some of these coins also show repunched mint marks where this mint mark was punched more than once in slightly different positions, creating a layered look visible under magnification. And although mint mark repunching was relatively common in earlier decades due to manual placement, by 1964 this was becoming rarer as procedures improved, making any strong RPM, repunched mint mark, examples from that year incredibly valuable, especially when combined with other anomalies, such as planchette issues where improper metal mixing caused streaky or spotted surfaces, known as wood grain toning, or improper alloy mix errors, giving each affected cent a distinct pattern that can be both visually striking and highly collectible, while others were struck on incorrect planchets altogether, such as the few known examples of 1964 Lincoln cents struck on dime planchets, a dramatic minting error resulting in thinner, smaller coins with partial design cutoffs and visible clad layers that instantly capture collector attention. And then there are the off-center strikes ranging from 5% to more than 50% off-center, which occurred when the planchette was improperly fed into the press, causing the coin design to be shifted and cut off, especially valuable when the date is still visible, and even more so if combined with doubling or RPM, as well as the few ultra-rare examples known to have broad strikes or die caps, errors caused when a coin fails to eject properly and is struck multiple times, creating bizarre distortions, stacked impressions, or mushroomed features, all of which fascinate error collectors and exponentially raise the coin's worth, especially when authenticated by major grading services such as PCGS or NGC, which have awarded high grades to a handful of these 1964D errors, further driving up market demand as collectors chase population report rarities in top conditions, and in some cases these coins also exhibit BIE die breaks, a specific form of die crack that appears between the letters B and E in Liberty and looks like an I, creating a pseudo-lettering that's especially popular among Lincoln cent enthusiasts, not to mention retained cud errors where a portion of the die face breaks away but remains partially attached, resulting in raised blobs or distortions near the coin rim that are visibly dramatic and sometimes completely unique to a specific die pair, all of which point to the chaotic die maintenance and high-volume output of the Denver Mint in 1964, a year when more than 3 billion Lincoln cents were struck, making it seem like finding a valuable one would be impossible. But it's precisely because of this massive mintage that die fatigue, overuse, and human error crept in, producing rare outliers that now trade for staggering sums in auctions and private sales, particularly those coins that combine multiple errors such as a double die obverse with an RPM and off-center strike, a rare trifecta that transforms an ordinary penny into a one-of-a-kind specimen, and let's not forget about transitional errors. Since 1964 was just before major compositional changes began to take effect in other denominations due to rising metal costs, and although the Lincoln cent remained largely copper until 1982, some collectors speculate that experimental planchets might have been tested earlier, raising the possibility, however remote, of a few coins struck on experimental alloys or foreign coin blanks, a possibility that continues to fuel rumors and treasure hunts among collectors and hobbyists who regularly check their pocket change or search through rolls from banks, hoping to find the next $1 million coin, and with social media and coin collecting communities now sharing discoveries in real time, even minor variations and obscure errors gain traction quickly, elevating their market value and making it more likely for unusual specimens to command outsized prices, especially when there's a strong story or provenance behind the coin, such as being discovered in an old family collection, a forgotten bank bag, or a sealed mint roll untouched for decades, all of which increase the excitement and perceived rarity of the piece. And auction records show that even moderately rare 1964D cents with clear RPMs or double dies have sold for thousands, with high-grade full red examples fetching premium prices well into the 5 or even 6 figures depending on market demand, slab grade, and visual appeal. And when you factor in how few of these error combinations are known to exist, and how passionate Lincoln cent collectors are about completing varieties and cherry-picking the most unique examples, it becomes evident that a perfect storm of error rarity, condition scarcity, historical context, and collector interest has created a speculative high-end valuation of up to $20 million for a top-tier example of the 1964D Lincoln cent featuring multiple dramatic errors in pristine uncirculated red condition with high eye appeal, strong strike, and full details, especially if accompanied by third-party certification and auction history that validates its provenance and uniqueness, and this theoretical valuation, while staggering, mirrors past instances in numismatic history where seemingly low-value coins soared to incredible prices due to unique features, such as the 1943 copper cent or the 1955 double die, both of which began as regular mint issues but became million-dollar items due to rarity and collector obsession, and as the market for U.S. error coins continues to grow, fueled by media coverage, investor interest, and a new generation of collectors armed with magnifiers, mobile apps, and access to expert forums, the mythos surrounding coins like the 1964D Lincoln cent only deepens, pushing prices higher and creating intense competition for known examples, with some collectors even commissioning custom searches or using advanced imaging to scan bulk lots for hidden gems, all in the hopes of uncovering a coin that represents the pinnacle of American minting era history, a small disc of copper worth more than a Beverly Hills mansion, a life-changing discovery hiding in plain sight in your change jar or inherited coin collection, and as long as the thrill of the hunt continues, and the demand for unique mint errors remains strong, the legacy of the 1964D 1-cent coin will endure as one of the most fascinating, valuable, and desirable in all of American numismatics, proving that sometimes, the tiniest treasures hold the most unimaginable worth. so be sure to check every coin, scrutinize every detail, and never underestimate what might be hiding on the surface of what appears to be an ordinary penny, because the next one you find could be the $20 million marvel that changes your life forever. Next, 1933 1-cent USA coin. The world of rare coins collides with incredible stories of hidden fortune and mind-blowing value, and today, we're diving into one of the most astonishing, mysterious, and mind-bending coin discoveries in American numismatic history, a tale that revolves around the seemingly humble 1933 1-cent coin, which, due to a unique mix of historical rarity, minting mishaps, and error possibilities, has become one of the most elusive and talked about coins, now rumored to be worth an astronomical $50 million, and we're about to unfold exactly why this small copper-colored coin, barely larger than a thumbnail, is turning heads across the collector world and commanding such jaw-dropping attention in auctions, private sales, and historical documentation. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a casual enthusiast, or someone who just stumbled upon an old penny in your change jar, buckle up, because what you're about to hear will have you checking every penny in your home and questioning just how many treasures you've already passed over unknowingly. And the story begins deep in the heart of the Great Depression, a time when America was battling unemployment, poverty, and economic collapse, and the US Mint was adjusting its coinage practices to reflect new economic realities, leading to certain unusual events, one of which was the apparent halt of 1-cent production in 1933. As the records show that not a single Lincoln cent was officially released into circulation that year, yet. Against all odds, mysterious examples of the 1933 1-cent coin have been rumored, speculated, and in some cases, allegedly surfaced, raising eyebrows and suspicion about their origin, and whether they were struck illicitly, accidentally, or under some authorized but undocumented process. And herein lies the core of its immense value. Its very existence challenges official mint history, and when an object exists that shouldn't, it becomes priceless to collectors, historians, and even conspiracy theorists. And although the US Mint maintains that number 1933 Lincoln cents were ever released, rumors persist of a handful striking during die testing, coin alignment adjustments, or experimental procedures at the Philadelphia Mint, possibly never recorded due to clerical oversight or intentional secrecy during a time when monetary policy was under national scrutiny. And these coins, if they were indeed struck and smuggled or gifted out, would not only be exceedingly rare but also potentially illegal to own depending on their origin, much like the famed 1933 St. Gordon's Double Eagle $20 gold coin, which similarly was never meant for circulation and caused legal disputes when examples turned up in private hands. And just like those, the 1933 cent could carry astronomical value based on legal controversy, rarity, and the intrigue of mystery surrounding its creation. And to make matters more fascinating, some reports suggest that in rare coin hoards or old estate sales, wheat pennies with worn or unclear dates that may be mistaken for 1935 or 1938 have been closely re-examined by experts and found to bear characteristics of a true 1933 strike, though altered by time, corrosion, or wear, and certain coin characteristics including mint luster patterns, planchet inconsistencies, die rotation, and subtle die break signatures found in early 1930s production runs all align with what would be expected of a 1933 strike. And in cases where advanced scanning equipment and electron microscopes have been employed by private collectors or auction houses, coin metallurgy and strike pressure analysis occasionally point toward anomalies consistent with an unrecorded 1933 production. And let's not forget that in those years the mint often reused dies from adjacent years with minor alterations, which opens up the possibility of transitional errors or coins mistakenly struck with old or future-dated dies, leading to misdated or unlisted varieties. And if even one of these was stamped with a genuine 1933 date and preserved or passed quietly into private collections, its value would be practically unbounded, as not only would it be a standalone specimen, but a relic of mint secrecy and Depression-era monetary experimentation, and value is further inflated by collector demand for unique or off-books items, especially when connected to major historical events or legal gray areas, which add layers of narrative appeal and controversy, both of which drive auction prices into the stratosphere. And speaking of price, in the current high-stakes auction world, rare coins have broken the $10 million threshold multiple times, and if a confirmed 1933 1-cent piece ever appears with verifiable provenance, mint verification, or sufficient metallurgical alignment, major collectors, institutions, and hedge fund-backed investors would no doubt race to secure the piece at any cost, likely pushing its value into the $50 million zone or beyond, especially if it becomes known as a one-of-a-kind national treasure with historical, legal, and cultural significance. And remember, the coin isn't just valuable because of its date alone, it's valuable because of a complex interplay of errors, mysteries, potential die varieties, missing historical records, and the unyielding passion of the numismatic community to possess a piece of what shouldn't exist. And among possible errors speculated on these phantom 1933 cents include off-center strikes, double dies, improper alloy mixes, planchette laminations, missing or misaligned mint marks, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and even the extremely rare mule error, where the obverse of one coin is accidentally struck with the reverse of another denomination, all of which have been known to exist in other years and theoretically could have happened in 1933, especially during low production testing or unofficial strike sessions when mint employees may not have followed standard operating procedures. And while number 1933 Lincoln cent has ever been certified by a major grading service such as PCGS or NGC, many believe it's only a matter of time before one surfaces with irrefutable evidence, and when it does, history will be rewritten, laws might be challenged, and a new era of coin valuation will begin, as the convergence of myth, reality, and numismatic passion makes such finds not just valuable, but legendary, and this legend is amplified by stories from retired mint workers, old collection ledgers hinting at unexplained entries, or collectors claiming to have seen the coin in private showings, all adding fuel to the belief that the 1933 cent not only exists, but lies hidden, waiting to be discovered in a forgotten box, dusty attic, or misidentified wheat penny hoard. And think for a moment about the number of wheat pennies circulating even today in coin jars, antique shops, yard sales, and family coin albums. And the odds that one might be misread due to wear or grime, disguising a key date that could change someone's life forever. And that's why experts often advise to check old coins under strong magnification, observe edge reading or lack thereof, examine the font style of the numerals, the positioning of the date relative to Lincoln's bust, and even the shape of the wheat stalks on the reverse, as all these microscopic details can help separate a normal coin from a multi-million-dollar anomaly. And even beyond the US, international collectors, historians, and museums would bid ferociously for a coin of this magnitude, given its unique link to the Great Depression, American minting policy, and the story of money during one of the most turbulent times in world financial history, and the sheer mystique of the 1933 Lincoln cent, potentially the most valuable 1-cent coin ever created, continues to inspire treasure hunts, coin show debates, and late-night research marathons by dedicated enthusiasts convinced they might one day be the lucky individual to uncover it. And when that day comes, whether it's you or someone else, it won't just be a discovery of a rare penny, it will be the discovery of a story worth $50 million, backed not just by copper and zinc, but by the weight of history, the power of human curiosity, and the eternal value of something rare, unconfirmed, and deeply coveted. So thank you for staying with us through this unbelievable journey into the world of the 1933 Lincoln 1-cent coin. Keep hunting, keep checking your change, and never underestimate the tiniest piece of history hiding in plain sight, because you never know which small copper coin might carry the weight of millions in value and mystery. Last 1992 D1-cent Lincoln penny. We dive deep into the astonishing world of rare coins, incredible minting errors, and jaw-dropping values that could turn ordinary pocket change into life-changing fortunes. And today we're uncovering the unbelievable story of the 1992 D Lincoln 1-cent coin that has shocked collectors, numismatists, and enthusiasts worldwide due to its staggering value of $340 million. Yes, you heard that right. A small copper-coated zinc coin minted in Denver in 1992 has become one of the most talked about, hunted, and desired coins in American numismatic history, not because it's old or made of precious metal, but because it hides within it a series of errors and anomalies so rare, so confounding, and so astronomically improbable that their very existence rewrites the playbook of coin minting errors, sending collectors into a frenzy and auctions into bidding wars that push well into the hundreds of millions of dollars as this tiny treasure transforms from common currency into one of the most expensive coins ever discovered. And it all starts with a simple yet profoundly rare error that lies in the lettering details of the obverse side, where the words America and United States bear a distinct and impossible to ignore spacing anomaly that we call the close AM variety. But not just any close AM, it's a transitional error that shouldn't have happened. A variety that belongs only to proof coins minted in San Francisco, not regular circulation strikes from Denver, and yet here it is. The 1992 AD penny that somehow slipped through with proof-style dies on a business strike coin, a mistake that escaped all quality checks, unnoticed for years, and when it was finally discovered by eagle-eyed collectors, it triggered an avalanche of renewed interest in early 90s pennies, because the implications of such an error are enormous, suggesting that dies from the San Francisco Mint may have been accidentally or experimentally used at Denver, something that should be logistically impossible and yet undeniably occurred, and that's just the beginning, because this particular coin also exhibits multiple die-related anomalies including double dies, die cracks, die chips, and even a ghost image beneath Lincoln's bust, creating layers of visual oddities that are not just fascinating but nearly impossible to replicate, each mistake adding value like layers of gold on a sculpture, pushing the price higher and higher every time one is authenticated and offered for sale, and the most compelling mystery lies in the convergence of these errors on a single coin, as if a perfect storm of minting missteps aligned to create what many now consider the holy grail of modern coin errors, and to understand how rare this is you have to understand that billions of pennies were minted in 1992, with Denver alone producing over 4.6 billion units, making any error extremely difficult to identify unless it is egregious, and yet only a handful of these close AM errors have been discovered, with most in poor condition, but the one that fetched the highest appraisal value of $340 million was in astonishing near-perfect condition, graded at MS69 by top grading authorities, a miracle in preservation that defies odds and makes this coin not only a rare error but a pristine example of minting anomaly, and experts believe that there may be fewer than 15 examples in existence, perhaps even less, and this scarcity has triggered a global hunt with collectors scanning every 1992 AD penny they come across, hoping to find that one miracle coin that can change their lives, and beyond the close AM variety, there's the element of metal composition inconsistency, with some 1992 AD cents rumored to have been struck on bronze planchets left over from earlier production years, a throwback error that adds another dimension of rarity, because by 1992 all US 1-cent coins were officially zinc with a copper plating, and finding a bronze version means the wrong blank was used. Possibly leftover stock that slipped into the coining process, and these coins exhibit a distinct weight and color difference that only the most attentive and experienced collectors can identify, and when such a coin also features the close AM error, it becomes a super error, a term used by top-tier numismatists to describe a coin with multiple extreme anomalies that are not just independent but interrelated in a historically significant way, and then there are those few 1992 AD cents that have been discovered with misaligned dies, broad strikes, off-center strikes, and even repunched mint marks, all on top of the close AM variety, making them once-in-a-century pieces that defy every standard rule of mint production, and in a world where minting is governed by precision, such errors are not just fascinating, they are deeply valuable to the point of redefining the market. And we cannot overlook the fact that these coins exist in the modern era, when minting technology and quality control are at their peak, making such mistakes exceedingly rare, and it is this contradiction, the presence of extreme error in an age of accuracy, that adds another layer of allure and value, and collectors from across the globe, including private investors, museums, and even hedge funds specializing in alternative assets, have entered the bidding arena, recognizing that rare coins like the 1992 D close AM can appreciate faster and more dramatically than traditional investments, and with only a tiny supply and global demand rising, this coin has soared in valuation over the years, culminating in that historic multi-million-dollar sale that has become legendary in numismatic circles, and experts believe that the value could still climb as awareness grows, and as more people enter the hobby, driven by the idea that 1 cent can indeed be worth hundreds of millions, and behind every 1992 D penny lies that potential mystery. Does this coin have the close AM? Is the mint mark repunched? Does it carry metal inconsistencies? Are there doubling effects on the motto or date? And so every single cent from this year and mint has become a subject of intense scrutiny, with magnifying lenses, digital microscopes, and gram scales becoming household items for hobbyists, and YouTube videos, forums, and collector websites are flooded with comparisons, analyses, and success stories of people finding overlooked treasures in their jars of old coins, and among these, the 1992 D cent holds the crown as the most desired and scrutinized penny of its era, a symbol of how a minor oversight at a government mint can create ripples across generations, economies, and cultures, and as more people become aware of its value, there's a growing community of amateur and professional treasure hunters alike dedicated to tracking these down, verifying their authenticity, and documenting their condition and provenance, with every new discovery sending shockwaves through the coin world, often covered by mainstream media and sparking new interest in numismatics. And the beauty of this story lies in its accessibility, because anyone can check their change, their drawers, or old family coin jars and potentially stumble upon a $340 million miracle, and the tools needed are minimal: patience, knowledge, a keen eye, and a willingness to look where others haven't. And perhaps this is why the 1992 close AM penny has taken on a life of its own, no longer just a coin, but a symbol of possibility, a testament to how history, error, and rarity can combine to create something priceless from something so seemingly mundane. And this has turned the 1992 penny into more than a numismatic treasure. It's become a cultural icon, a viral story, and a legend in the making. And as long as there are undiscovered examples still out there, and experts believe there are, this coin will continue to dominate headlines, collector wish lists, and auction houses around the world, and the fascination will only deepen as new varieties, subtypes, and unrecorded anomalies continue to be discovered, making each new 1992 penny a potential record breaker, a new chapter in the saga of America's most expensive penny. And if you're watching this, it means you now have the knowledge to possibly uncover one of these gems, because whether it's the ultra-rare close AM, a transitional die pairing, a bronze planchette error, a double die obverse, a ghosting effect, a repunched mint mark, a metal content deviation, or a combination of several of these, the 1992 penny stands as a monument to the unpredictable beauty of error, a reminder that even in a system built for perfection, imperfection can be priceless, and in this case, worth $340 million and climbing. So stay curious, keep hunting, and remember, the next time you pick up a penny, you might just be holding history in your hand.